Hi, friends. Miss Lauren here, and today we are channeling our inner Bob Ross to paint a beautiful landscape, complete with some happy trees, of course. But first, let's do a warm up. Today's creative warm up is to paint a tree. I have a few examples of some trees here for you to practice or make up your own. Remember, yours does not have to look exactly like mine. This is just practice. We'll spend about 5 minutes here and then get started with the lesson. I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn so much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Marvelous. If you're not done with your tree yet, feel free to pause the video. We'll also have plenty of time in our landscape to add some trees. Put those beautiful warm-ups to the side and take out another piece of watercolor paper. We're going to use some tape to tape down all 4 sides of our paper. Tape helps to keep our paper lying flat on the table, and it'll give us a really nice border when we're all done, like a picture frame. Doo-ba-doo-ba-da-boo, zibba-da-boo. While you're taping down your papers, be thinking about, what is your favorite thing about nature? Is it the sky, trees, rivers, maybe a favorite flower? you'll have a chance at the very end to add all of those favorite things to make this landscape unique and special to you. The first thing we're going to do, friends, is paint the sky. So let's wake up a shade of blue. Grab your magic wand, give it a swirl in your water cup, and wake up a shade of blue. Any will do. I'm going to do this one. Just brush a little bit of water on it. This will make it easier to work with when we're ready for it. Now rinse off your brush because we're actually starting with water first. When we add water to our paper and then wet paint, the paint is going to spread and look really cool. Perfect for some clouds. So let's give our paintbrushes a swirl in our water cup, and we're going to brush water just on the top half of our paper. Sweep back and forth like this, so that way you get an even coating of water. Your paper should look shiny. Time for some paint. Load up your brush with your color blue really good. Brush it several times. And we're going to see what happens when we add a blue squiggle to the wet paper. Here we go. Ooh la la. Did anything happen? Mine kind of looks like a fuzzy caterpillar. If you didn't get a fuzzy caterpillar, don't worry. Rinse off your brush. And using the little bit of water on your brush, we can go up to that blue squiggle and we can spread it around like this. Let's add a few more blue squiggles to our sky, leaving some space in between to become the clouds. By the way, friends, if I'm ever going too fast or you want to see that part again, feel free to pause or rewind the video. How does your sky look? Do you see some fluffy clouds? If you don't have any fluffy clouds, that's all right. Maybe you just have a beautiful, clear blue sky. There are so many ways to make skies. I can't wait to see how yours turns out. Now that we've finished our sky, let's take that same shade of blue and we're going to add just a little bit of water down at the bottom because perhaps there's a bubbling brook or a river in our landscape. Grab a little bit more blue on your brush, just a little, and at the bottom of your paper, sweep back and forth like this, like you're sweeping a broom. This will make it look like some waves or ripples in the water. Just a little bit. We want to make sure we leave plenty of room on our paper for some other things. There we go. Beautiful. Rinse off your brush. The next thing we're going to add is some faraway trees. Now, here's what I love about faraway trees. They don't have to look like trees. We just need the shape and outline of them. So, let's wake up some green. Go ahead and load up your brush with a shade of green, real good. we're going to add these faraway trees across the middle of our paper, right below your clouds. Imagine that you can take your paintbrush feet and we're just going to stomp our way across the middle here. It's kind of like dab, 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 like that, all the way across. If you want your trees to be taller, just go up towards those clouds like this. If your trees are starting to bleed or spread into your clouds, that's all right. We want them to look fuzzy because these are faraway trees. So that's okay. Maybe there's a really tall tree over here. I like to kind of even out the bottom too. Awesome job. How's it looking so far? Do you have some clouds, some water, some faraway trees? Time for the next step. This one's my personal favorite because we're going to add the waterfall. Now let's take a closer look at this example. I have what looks like some rocky cliffs and some waterfall mist. If you would like to have waterfall mist in your landscape painting, make sure you've got a piece of paper towel or napkin that you can crumble up really good like this. And I'll show you how we can press down on the cliff and lift away some of the paint to make the waterfall mist. So just make sure you have that handy. But first we need to mix together an earthy color. This could be black, brown, gray, green, or maybe a mix of all three. Take a second to mix up an earthy color. Oh yeah, that looks great. Load up your brush with your earthy color. I'm going to start on my left side here, and I'm going to start right below those faraway trees. Paint down towards the water, and then out towards the middle. But don't go too far. We want to leave room for the waterfall. It should kind of look like a rectangle. Go ahead and fill it in, and then we'll use that paper towel. Use a smaller piece. Crumble it up real good, and then right at the bottom of your cliff, press down and then lift away. Do you see that? When we lift away some of that paint, it makes it a lighter shade. Perfect for some waterfall mist. If your waterfall mist isn't showing up, you can also add some more earthy color around it. The darker your cliff is, the more that mist will appear. Let's go ahead and do the other side too. Awesome job. Can you see the waterfall? We're not quite done with it yet, but we have the makings of an amazing roaring waterfall. Friends, we have just 2 more steps to do together. We're going to add a little bit of color to our waterfall and a green riverbank down at the bottom, and then it'll be up to you to decide how you finish it. To add some water to my waterfall, I'm going to use a teeny tiny brush like this. You see how small that is? If you don't have a small brush like this, no worries. You'll just want to make sure you use the very tippy toes of whatever brush you're using, because we want to make some very thin lines. Let's grab a little bit of blue paint, just a little bit. A little bit goes a long ways here. You can always add more. Do you remember how at the bottom we swept back and forth like this? This time we're going to sweep up and down to make it look like the water is cascading down those cliffs. Using the very tippy toes of your brush, start brushing up and down like this. I like to kind of zigzag the line a bit so it almost looks like these curtains of water falling down. Oh, that's nice. Awesome job. Ready for the last step? We're going to add some green on either side of our water down at the bottom of the paper. It will help to frame the river and draw our eyes towards that magnificent waterfall. I'm going to switch back to my main paintbrush. Give it another swirl in your water cup and load up with some green. Real good. Starting right below my cliffs, I'm going to paint a green line out towards the middle and then squiggle it down the paper. Fill it in. And I'll do the same thing to the other side. And there you have it. We have the makings of an amazing landscape, but now it's time to add some details. And here's where you can really have some fun. Perhaps you'll add some rocks in the river or some trees, maybe even a rainbow in the sky or some birds. What else could you add? If you get stuck or you're like, I have no idea what to add to this painting, feel free to look at my paper for some ideas. I can't wait to see what you come up with. When you finish and you're ready to remove the tape, make sure you peel it nice and slowly so you don't accidentally rip your beautiful masterpiece. And last but not least, we need to add our artist signature. Grab something to write with, whether it's a pencil or a peacock feather, and sign your name. Well, that's it for today's adventure. Thank you so much for joining me. If you had fun, be sure to subscribe for all the latest art tutorials and head to www.artwithlauren.com for live classes. Until next time, happy painting.